Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the sonnets, and today we have Sonnet 133, which says, "Beshrew that heart that makes my heart to groan, for that deep wound it gives my friend and me. It's not enough to torture me alone, but slave to slavery my sweetest friend must be. Me from myself thy cruel eye hath taken, and my next self thou harder hast engrossed. Of him, myself, and thee I am forsaken, a torment thrice threefold thus to be crossed. Prison my heart in thy steel bosom's ward, but then my friend's heart, let my poor heart bail. Whoever keeps me, let my heart be his guard. Thou canst not then use rigor in my jail. And yet thou wilt. For I, being pent in thee, perforce am thine, and all that is in me." So this one is widely considered to be another one of the Dark Lady sonnets, and he's been talking for the last couple poems about how she's kind of mean to him, and she's got these dark eyes and she doesn't treat him very well, but she thinks that she's beautiful anyway, and she torments him and all this sort of stuff. And in this one, he's gotten almost a little bit angry. And when I first read it, in the second line, he references my friend. He's like, you've also injured my friend and me, but maybe it's because in Sonnet 132, he personified her eyes as being mourners that were pitying him, and then asked to have that sort of spread through the rest of her body so that her heart would also pity him and the rest of her. When he talked about his friend, when I first read this, I thought that he was referring to another part of himself. We've seen in many of the other sonnets where he takes sort of his heart and his mind and separates them. Some of the analyses say that he's got like his self, his muse, and his soul as sort of three separate entities. But I know that we've seen at least two separate entities within himself previously, like separating his heart from his mind. And that's what this made me think of when I first read it. A couple of the analyses that I read agreed with me. A couple said that the friend might even be the fair youth brought back into this, because we know from the fair youth sonnets that at one point there was some infidelity going on. So maybe this dark lady is the third in that love triangle, and she's also mean to the fair youth. So if we go with the analysis that my friend does mean the fair youth, then what he's saying is, like, it's fine if you torture me, but leave him alone. It's killing me that you're being mean to him too. He's like, take my heart, do whatever you want with it, but let me trade my heart for his so you can let him go and I can sort of protect him. But then in the last two lines, he's like, but since he lives in my heart because I love him, then if you own me, then by proxy, you own him. If you take it to mean my friend is like his own heart versus his own mind, what he's saying is, it's not enough that you're messing with my mind, you're also messing with my heart. And he says, you ripped me apart from myself, and you're being particularly mean to this part of me, but then even meaner to this part of me. So I'm getting it from 9 different directions. He says this is thrice threefold torture, basically. He's saying I'm getting this from 9 different directions, that you're being mean to me and to him, and possibly even to yourself, the Dark Lady's self. So he's like, it's fine if you want to mess with my heart, but don't mess with my head, because, or the other way around, however you want to think of the split between them. He's like, it's okay if you mess with one, but don't mess with the other. Please, let me keep one safe. But again, in the last couple lines comes to the conclusion that because both are actually part of him, whatever the Dark Lady owns, be it his heart or his mind, she actually owns both. So kind of a fun one to dig into, and I'm curious to see how it landed on you at first. Did you think that he was talking about a separate entity friend, or a separation of himself friend, or something else entirely? I'd love to hear what you thought. Leave it in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow for 134. Mwah.